What up, everybody? Before I even get started, let me start out by saying, in my personal opinion, Force Season 3 Episode 2 was the best episode of the Force series so far. The episode starts out with Tommy and Diamond dunking Vic in water until he agreed to do whatever they tell him to do, after catching him at the car rental garage trying to get out of town at the end of Episode 1, and let him know that they know he's been working with the feds. In Episode 1, Tommy told Diamond that they would know every move Vic made, including knowing that he talked to Stacy, as well as he went to see his Aunt Beth. Because of that, Tommy's using Vic's Aunt Beth as leverage to make sure that Vic doesn't get out of line and try to play him again. After that, Tommy and Diamond sent Vic to tell Claudia that CBI is going to be running the Viagra Triangle now. The Viagra Triangle is the clubs where Claudia was moving product in Season 2 with a lease that the Serbs also forced their way into. And one of the clubs was even where Claudia met Roberto Ortega from the Marquez cartel. Once Vic was gone, Tommy told Diamond that he knows it was Claudia who sent the hitters the previous night. And Diamond told Tommy that maybe they should let Che know about that. When Tommy told Diamond that the less Che knows, the better. Now going back to OG Power Season 1, when Tommy and Ghost's organization first got hit, Tommy told Ghost not to tell Lobos what happened, and Ghost said they should tell him, and told him, and it was a good thing he did because Lobos already knew everything that was going on. So we'll see how it plays out this time with Tommy calling the shots and trying to keep this from Che, and if Che already knows what's going on, like Lobos did. Tommy also got word from Mireya that Che was back in Mexico and wanted to make a move against Miguel while Che was out of town. So the play was to create a supply and demand problem by setting Miguel's warehouse where his product was at on fire. And each day going back to OG Power Season 2 when Ghost and Tommy did this to force the Serbs to get product from them. This time Tommy and Diamond did it to force the Albanians to buy from them. And after Tommy and Miguel burnt down Miguel's warehouse, when Miguel confronted Tommy, Tommy asked him if he had fire insurance. A callback to OG Power when Dre and Cristobal burnt down Tommy's warehouse, and Father Callahan asked Tommy if he had insurance. But because Tommy made this move against Miguel, Miguel ended up hiring a hitter to go at Tommy, supposed to be one of the best hitters in the city, as Miguel has to keep his fingerprints off the hit to avoid problems with both Che and Mireya. While Tommy and Diamond were burning down Miguel's warehouse, Vic went to the jail to talk to Claudia to tell her that CBI was going to be taking over the Viagra Triangle. And Claudia ultimately agreed when Vic let her know that this was her last chance to buy some more time. After agreeing to hand over the Viagra Triangle to Tommy, Claudia talked to Stacy Marks and told her she would give her information on Tommy now that she's in with him. Something that Tommy is likely counting on Claudia doing. And with that said, Stacy said that Tommy had always been 3 steps ahead of Claudia, but agreed to work with Claudia to take down Tommy, and warned her if it went sideways she would make Claudia spend the rest of her life in prison. Prior to this, the feds had also said that the bug went out in Tommy's loft, and Stacy was also served divorce papers from her husband, Bobby DeFranco. And later when Bobby went to talk to Stacy and was willing to work things out, she couldn't tell him that it wasn't just about her image, so he walked out. And this is after Stacy told Donna Jackson from the DNC that she had no issues in her personal life and no issues with Bobby. At that point, Donna Jackson said they were formally going to announce that Stacy's running for mayor, and also gave her a list of campaign managers to choose from. And like I mentioned in a video I made last week, this is definitely an opportunity for Ramona Garrity to come back into the storyline. Make sure to go on my page and check that video out if you haven't yet. After burning down Miguel's warehouse, Tommy finally went to see about DMAC, who was still hiding out at Marshall's apartment. Marshall was telling DMAC until they get word, they're not even supposed to be seen with DMAC. So Marshall being around DMAC by itself is violating CBI orders. DMAC also told Marshall that Diamond sent Jannard to make sure he was sitting on his. So that's what Jannard did when he picked up DMAC at the end of episode 1. Jannard also told Shanti later in the episode that he put some money in DMAC's pocket. When Marshall tried covering for DMAC who was hiding in his closet, Tommy told Marshall that he used to be just like that, willing to stand in line of fire for his brother, and warned him that it doesn't usually end too good. After finding DMAC hiding in the closet and confronting him about leaving the boarding school, DMAC ultimately got Tommy to stop pressing him by telling him that he doesn't even want back in CBI anymore. Convinced that Diamond will end up talking to Tommy to get him back in. So to try to show the guys in CBI that he deserves to be back in, DMAC said that he wanted to pull off a boss move and knew a score that him and Marshall could hit, a crap game in Chinatown. After Tommy went to check on DMAC, he went to get a slice of pizza with Mireya, with Bones and Smurf as his security, when the Marquez cartel did a drive-by and Bones got shot. But to avoid the cops, they took Bones back to Tommy's crib for Mireya to patch him up. And later in the episode, Mireya brought Tommy some painkillers for Bones. It seems like Mireya might have took those pills from her job. And after patching Bones up, Mireya didn't even seem fazed by getting shot at and told Tommy that she was always going to show up for him. After Bones got patched up, Diamond and Gennard showed up at Tommy's crib asking about what happened and who was behind the drive-by. At this point, Gennard said that the Yardies had been wilding lately, so that's something that will likely come into play later on in Season 3. But Tommy said that they knew it was the Marquez cartel because Smurf saw the tattoo on the shooter's hand. So at this point, they put extra security on all their spots and stash houses. And Tommy said he also wanted security on Mireya, and when he said that, both Diamond and Gennard looked a type of way. Then Tommy told Gennard that his only job was to find the shooter from the Marquez cartel who took a shot at him. Then Tommy sent Vic Flynn to talk to Stacy Marks and tell her that CBI is at war with the Marquez cartel, and tell Stacy that they were going to make a move against Roberto Ortega while he's locked up. And as a result, Stacy played right into Tommy's hands and moved Ortega to solitary confinement. Keeping in mind that convicting Ortega plays a big part in the DNC promoting Stacy as mayor. Then Gennard went to talk to Diamond about Tommy constantly disrespecting him and told Diamond that getting intel on Marquez was a job for a kid, while also reminded Diamond that he helped him build CBI as well by running things for 15 years. Gennard's doing this because earlier in the episode, Shanti told Gennard to spend time with Diamond and manipulate him and to get closer to him so he could ultimately be there the next time Tommy and Diamond met with Che. And at this point, Gennard found out that their next meeting with Che is supposed to be in about a week. While Gennard was trying to get in Diamond's head about Tommy, Diamond was asking Gennard why he hadn't killed DMAC yet. But Gennard bought DMAC some time with Diamond, like Shanti wanted him to, telling Diamond he doesn't want to blow everything up with Tommy by making a move against DMAC. And Diamond agreed to buy DMAC a little bit of time, but said that that's something they're going to have to deal with sooner or later, or King Kilo will be coming for one of them. While Gennard was buying DMAC more time, that night DMAC and Marshall made their move against the crack game in Chinatown. DMAC robbed the place with a mask on, while Marshall was there acting like he was just gambling with no mask on or anything. DMAC hit Marshall in the stomach to make it look like he wasn't involved before making him walk out with the bag. But one of the guys who DMAC robbed there was a dealer who DMAC took a brick of Fetty from, who warned DMAC that he was making a big mistake. So we got to believe that that guy will come back into play looking for revenge later on at some point in Season 3. After hitting this lick, DMAC kicked up some money in the brick of Fetty to CBI, giving it to Gennard, thinking it would get him back in CBI, only for Gennard to tell him he's not a priority right now because they're dealing with territory beef, while eating his food at the same time. Gennard later told Shanti about the fentanyl and talked about cutting product with it, but Shanti was against it, saying she doesn't want people dying. So this is something that will likely also come back into play later on in Season 3 as well. DMAC then bought a sports bike with his money and pulled up on his crush Genesis, who hadn't been responding to his text, after he no-showed on the date they were supposed to go to in Season 2 because he killed Seamus the dirty cop. DMAC apologized to Genesis by giving her a notebook with her name on it and mentioned that she plans on going to Spelman College and becoming an author. DMAC already had a helmet for Genesis ready, as she wanted to go on a ride with him on his new bike. After agreeing to let CBI sell out of the Viagra Triangle clubs, Claudia told Elise that she needs to be the one to work the clubs so Claudia doesn't lose control. When Shanti brought Elise the product, Elise let Shanti know that the clubs belong to her mom and the manager knows to end the deal if something were to happen to her. Shanti brought Elise bags of coke that go for $150 a piece to sell. But Elise told Shanti that she could handle things on her own and didn't need her help. But when trying to sell the coke, one of the girls who worked for Elise, Destiny, was overcharging and skimming off the top, so Elise had to call up Shanti for help, who beat down Destiny and found the stack of money that she had planned on stealing. At this point, Shanti told Elise that she was inexperienced just like Claudia and warned her if she keeps it up, her and Claudia will both be in the morgue soon. After being assigned by Tommy to find the shooter, Jannard ultimately found him after sitting on the Serb's warehouse, and after Tommy and Diamond paid him a visit, they had him call Ortega in solitary confinement when they sent him a message letting him hear them kill the shooter. While Ortega was yelling and threatening Tommy, Tommy cut this guy's head off and ended up bringing it to a coalition meeting. Keeping in mind they're trying to make sure that this doesn't get back to Che. So because of that, Diamond thought that Tommy showing up to the meeting with the guy's head was a bad idea. And even after that, some of the gangs were still having doubts when Jannard stepped in and made his voice heard and got the crews back in line. Tommy wasn't even going to let Jannard speak, but Diamond made Tommy let him speak. And after Jannard got done speaking, Tommy tried checking him when Jannard told Tommy that the only reason they were in this mess is because of him, and everything he does brings danger to their doorstep. After Jannard said this, when Tommy tried checking him, Diamond stepped in and had Jannard's back, telling Tommy that Che better not find out about what happened, because they're not going to risk what they built for anybody. So at the pace things are going with Diamond and Tommy, I give it maybe 2 episodes, 3 at most, before Tommy's on the outside looking in as a lone wolf. And after the coalition meeting at the end of the episode, the Marquez cartel killed Chavo Cardina, leader of the DSDs, in retaliation for Tommy taking out the shooter, Mateo. So that's going to cause more problems within the coalition, and it could potentially even be how Che finds out about everything that's going on. And a couple other things before I finish this video is that Tommy found out from Vic that Stacy is running for mayor and wants Vic to get info on Stacy with plans on having a mayor in his pocket. Vic had also went to talk to his Aunt Beth to tell her about his dilemma being in between 2 devils when she said to use the weaker one for leverage. And later towards the end of the episode, Vic went and connected with Ray, who's the assistant of Donna Jackson of the DNC, and told Ray his name is Jason Booker. And the final thing from the episode to talk about is when Tommy wrapped up his day and came home to Mireya, he got a text from JP saying that Kate had checked herself out of the hospital and went back to New York. And that's definitely a big clue, indicating that we could also be seeing Tommy go to New York as well. This is when on the 4th timeline, Kate gets a letter from Diana Tejada with Tasha's address. So we could potentially be seeing that Book 2 crossover from Tommy and Kate's perspective in the next couple of episodes. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.